Welcome back to In the Cards and Stars. I'm your host, Britt Madrid Mogensen. We are looking at the karmic astrology between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. As crazy as your wildest thoughts about this, like what it could be, take that and multiply it by 500. This is astrology in the wild, astrology in action. We're gonna break it down. It's intense. So, okay. Trigger warning, buckle up. This is not a lighthearted episode, but it definitely uncovers some of the mystery surrounding the karmic astrology between these two individuals who have gotten into a lot of trouble together. And I think it might be time for a reckoning. And the astrology is going to talk about that. I obviously have been following what's been going on. You guys have been following it as well. I want to just talk about some of the karmic connections. And then if you guys are patrons or members, you can go over to that video where we're going to pull some tarot cards, spill a little bit more tarot tea, get a little bit juicier, okay? Let's get into it. I like to use a book by the late astrologer Jan Spiller. You basically put in the birth chart information. You have to have the birth time, which, believe it or not, we do have the AA rating, meaning it's from the birth certificate, birth times for both Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, what luck. So all you do is you put in this information onto this online calculator, and you get the karmic connections between two birth charts. First of all, this is based on North Node and South Node astrology. We've talked about that before and how important your North and South Node are. Quick refresher, because this is going to be important. Your North Node is your destiny and what you're striving for. Typically, when we talk about past life astrology, if somebody has connections to your North Node, they push you forward on your path in one way or another. They're a teacher for you. They can be someone who's a part of your future, someone who helps you to grow in the ways that you need to grow through, various methods. Could be positive, could be a little bit more difficult, but either way, their presence in your life pushes you towards who you're becoming and who you're meant to be. Your South Node, now this can go a couple different ways as well. So your South Node in astrology tells you about your past lives. It also talks about your childhood. This, in a positive light, can be someone that you knew from a past life, and it can be carrying over past life energy to continue on with a positive story. Let's say you were really close with someone in a past life and you find each other again in this lifetime. That can be why sometimes we meet people and it just feels like we've known them forever. Check. See if they have a past life South Node connection with your chart. On the negative side, which is what I think is going on here with Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, South Node connections can also be karmic in nature as far as a negative karmic reckoning. This can be someone that you had a really difficult past life connection with, especially when certain zodiac signs are involved, like Aries. This could very literally, as Aries is the warrior of the zodiac, could very literally translate to fighting with someone in a past life. Now, if we are thinking about Roman times or wars, this could be someone that you physically battled in a past life. Maybe you were a gladiator and this person took your life. I mean, I know we're getting a little crazy, but you're going to have to go with me on this journey because that's where we're at today. So that's how the South Node negative astrology can play out. Either way, when you have a South Node connection, this is someone who's either bringing you a soulmate, positive gift energy from a past life, or it's somebody who is bringing you karma for something that you did or they did to you. Either way, this is a soul tie, and it goes much deeper than the surface. So do I think these two had a very close relationship? Yes, absolutely. And a lot of the reports have confirmed that. So when we look at their particular karmic connections between their birth charts, we see that Donald Trump is a Gemini North Node person. Always posting on social media, very Gemini North Node. That's his vibe. Gemini North Node, chatty Cathy, okay? You can't shut him up. And then Jeffrey was an Aquarius North Node person. Talking about somebody like him, this is definitely the negative side of Aquarius energy. So this would be someone who's not very generous, somebody who is always trying to use technology or think of detached ways to get what they want. They use the group to find a way to get what they want as well. So these people can be highly influenced or highly influential in certain social circles. Aquarius rules the 11th house in astrology of groups and humanity and social circles. So this is somebody who, in a negative light, could be detached in a way that they are able to use humanity to get what they want. So things can get out of control very quickly with people with an Aquarius North Node who are not heart-centered. Ideally, what you're supposed to be doing with your North and South Node placements is taking the positive energy from the South Node sign and then growing in the direction of your North Node sign. So somebody who is a positive Leo South Node, Aquarius North Node would be someone who has mastered the art of positive Leo qualities of generosity, being in the spotlight, warmth, and a healthy sense of ego. And they would take that and then better humanity and go out into the world, Aquarius style, and be like a philanthropist or someone who is able to work in the field of technology to connect people in new and innovative ways, futuristic. Now, as we know, he didn't do those things, right? He definitely was in the dark side of this placement. When you don't do this properly, you tend to embody a lot of the negative South Node traits. And then you also tend to embody a lot of the negative North Node traits. I mean, this is like evil astrology. If we go to the houses, Jeffrey Epstein is bringing Donald Trump the gifts, or impacting or connected to his sixth house. And so interesting because vice versa, the gifts or the connection that Donald Trump has with Jeffrey Epstein falls in Jeffrey's sixth house as well. So they have a mutual sixth house connection. When you have this in karmic astrology, the energy is amplified because anytime something is the same, it's amplified, right? It's like times two. So there's a heavy sixth house day-to-day energy between these two. Do I think that they were way more involved with everything than I think even people suspect at this point? Maybe people that have been doing the investigation, I'm sure they know. But I think that we all have an idea, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. Let me say that. We all have an idea of a connection and the fact that there was potentially involvement allegedly. But what we might not be aware of that could begin to surface is the sixth house connection of day-to-day activity, day-to-day habits. Okay? There was talk of a best friendship between the two. So allegedly, for entertainment purposes only, this would back that theory up. If that's something that comes out, a mutual sixth house connection, this is not this is not like someone that you would see every once in a while, like a ninth house. This is like a sixth house. Hey, how you doing? Do you want to go grab lunch again today? Or hey, what are you doing next week? That type of thing. The other connection that they have, and this is what's known as a past life contract. Okay, so now it's even more intense. Turn up the heat a little bit. The past life contract that they have is with Jeffrey's South Node conjunct Donald Trump's Pluto. A South Node Pluto contract. Now, Pluto, as we know, is about the underworld. Pluto has to do with destruction, Scorpio energy, the taboo. I mean, come on, guys. We couldn't have written this better if we were coming up with it ourselves. All right. And then the composite chart energy, the energy that they create together. So this is when the two of them enter a room together, they start talking, they're hanging out. The energy that the two of them generate when they are partnering, talking, doing whatever they're doing together is Aries sixth house energy. Warrior energy. Aries is the me, what I want. I'm going to get what I want. And then also war could be violence allegedly. And then sixth house, your day-to-day habits and activities, what you like to get up to regularly. Okay, very interesting. So now let's dive in a little bit deeper and see what else we can find out. The South Node conjunct Pluto. So this is the deepest shadow contact between two signs, or between two charts, because Jeffrey's South Node conjunct Pluto, this is the definition of karmic synastry, okay? Because Pluto is power, secrets, control, destruction, exposure, transformation. South Node is karma, past life baggage, the unfinished business that returns later, which has it come to knock today? I think so. It comes a knocking, you know what I mean? So when someone's South Node hits another person's Pluto, the relationship often can pull buried Plutonian material to the surface. Now, what would buried Plutonian material be? Well, that would be things that we don't see, things that we don't know are happening. Um, that happen to be taboo. Pluto is the taboo, the hidden, the mysterious, the secretive. So when we are pulling that stuff up from Hades, Pluto rules Hades. When we're pulling that stuff up from Hades, think about all of the horrible, evil deeds that go on when we're talking about Hades. And so interesting, actually, that Donald Trump has been talking a lot about if he's going to go to heaven or not. Well, maybe the reason that he's worried about that has to do with some of the activities, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, that were going on between he and Jeffrey Epstein, which we can see by this South Node Pluto connection. Okay. All right. So the buried plutonian material coming to the surface, something else that I think is really interesting about that is that this is happening in the sixth house. The sixth house is across from the 12th house, and the two of them connect to one another. So the way that works is like, your 12th house, let's say that's like mental health and like spirituality. Let's say you're having some sort of like difficulty in your 12th house, like you're going through some struggles. Well, all you have to do is look to your sixth house zodiac sign and embody the positive qualities of that sign to help balance out your 12th house energy and bring you back into a positive headspace. But in the negative sense, sometimes we can look at things that we've been doing with our daily habits in the sixth house, and that is what contributes to us either having positive mental health, a positive sense of our spirituality in the 12th house, or not. So the 12th house and the sixth house are very, very connected. One is mental health, one is physical health. One is the day-to-day habits, sixth house, that bring about the mindset and mentality, the 12th house. So you can really help to make shifts in both of the houses just by balancing your energy in the opposite house. Fun fact. But when it comes to some negative vibes, like these two have, um, the South Node connection to the sixth house can tell us that a lot was going on across the way in that 12th house. 12th house is the house of clandestine affairs, what we want to remain hidden, things that stay buried, things that we think will never come up. So the 12th house sign in your birth chart, that also tells you like the most hidden part of yourself. Another fun fact, just kind of interesting, right? Interesting to know. But with these two, it's really dark. Another way that Pluto comes around and does its karmic business, makes sure everybody is learning their life lessons, is if you are not being someone who is upstanding, if you're not living with a sense of integrity, if you are not staying balanced when it comes to the Pluto connection, Pluto will burn you all the way down to the ground. I mean, it will take everything that you have hidden and it will put it on the front page. And that's what I think is happening here. Pluto acts like a karmic vacuum and it creates this reckoning. So right now, Pluto's like sucking everything out of that 12th house of secrets and throwing it into the sixth house of day to day for Donald Trump, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. Another weird thing that I think is very interesting is that this South Node Pluto connection can also expose hidden power dynamics as well as destabilize unearned power. Unearned power. Interesting. Interesting. I think a lot's going to be going on for the rest of this week and next, guys. So we're all going to be keeping an eye out. This is also a connection that causes transformation through crisis, South Node Pluto. Anything that is karmic, that is negative, anything that we have done in the past that we have not atoned for properly will eventually be delivered with a Pluto South Node connection. And this person who is the South Node person, the one that is kind of like the prime mover in the situation, the one whose actions depict how this is going to play out. The planet person is like the receptive person. So what's interesting is with these two, Epstein doesn't even have to be alive. He doesn't even have to do anything other than have existed for his impact on Donald Trump to eventually expose whatever Donald has gone through his life hiding. Okay, I mean, it's very intense, you guys. The South Node Pluto conjunction also can bring about situations that feel like fate has finally caught up. And I don't know about you guys, but it has seemed to me like Donald Trump is somebody that I just can't figure out because I've never seen anybody else be able to do so many things and just not ever have any consequences, allegedly. You know what I mean? He was a convicted felon. Like, it's like, but also the president. Like, how does that happen? Like, I speed, I get a ticket. Do you know what I mean? So to me, this is going to be like karmic consequence catching up, allegedly. The past comes back to undo what was built in shadow. South Node Pluto connection. I mean, does that not apply to this so much? It just does. It's so crazy. This also could be a karmic collapse. Pluto destroys things. So do I think that Donald Trump is going to be able to get out of this time around? I don't. I actually don't. I know a lot of people are skeptical, thinking that, he's going to figure out a way to get out of this one as well. And I would say, yeah, probably. If I hadn't seen the South Node Pluto conjunction, I think this might be the one thing that is powerful enough Pluto energy to stick. Also in astrology, Virgo energy typically rules the sixth house. The sixth house is the house associated with service, work, and daily habits, right? So Virgo energy is meant to be in a positive light, organized and upfront and pure of heart and healing and like good. It's supposed to be good. It's supposed to be good energy in our lives. That's what our sixth house should be. Regardless of the zodiac sign that rules your own particular sixth house, the energy that you want to balance it out with is always going to be like trying to be organized, trying to heal, trying to bring kindness to others on a day-to-day basis. Like it is a place of productivity and positivity in an ideal situation, right? However, if you have a South Node Pluto connection with somebody and a mutual overlay of the sixth house and Aries, oh my God, this is basically like destructive energy. Aries is a weapon in a negative sense. It can destroy, it can be about getting what you want at all costs. Think about it, the warrior, the first sign of the zodiac, a me first energy. And this is basically like the opposite of how we're supposed to be thinking about our sixth house day to day. If you go about your day to day life constantly being selfish and self centered with the negative side of Aries, you are going to have issues, right? Like things are going to eventually stop working out for you. You're going to hurt the wrong person. You're going to have everybody leave you. Like that's what this is going to look like, allegedly. It's going to be like, finally. That's why I think this is also going to work this time around. It's because I think a lot of people are tired of having to deal with that type of energy from him, that me first, me, me, me. It's going to finally allow other people who maybe have been towing the line because they're like, I feel threatened by this person, which again, no excuse. Like you have to be a stand-up person. Like there's a reason that it's called a public servant, for politicians. Like ideally, they're supposed to be public servants. They're supposed to put the will of the people first, not their own interests. However, that doesn't always seem to play out that way, does it? But when it comes to this energy, we may see a lot of people like just coming out of the woodwork saying, I'm so glad that this finally happened so that I could be free of this. Because people with a lot of heavy Aries energy, like they're just going to keep taking. They're just going to keep putting themselves first. And there's no way for them to have real partnerships. There just isn't. So these two, were they real partners? Were they real friends? No. But I think they had enough mutual interest with that overlapping sixth house energy that they shared of Aries vibes of both wanting to get what they want, very hedonistic. And I think that connection was strong enough to create like a pseudo friendship, or at least a mutually beneficial connection while it served both of them. And then when it stopped serving Donald Trump, I think that he, cut things off, went into his Aries energy and was like, I got to save myself. I got to jump ship, allegedly, for entertainment purposes only. And now it's going to catch up because you can do that in the moment, but eventually it's all going to come out. You can't just act out of self-interest constantly and think it's never going to catch up. So I think that's what we're witnessing, you guys. We may find out more information about his habits, daily routines, work issues. Allegedly, there could be more that comes out about something that they were working on together. Like, the sixth house would be like finances, because it is typically work. It's like people that you work with, people that work for you. A mutual sixth house overlay could also indicate business partners. I mean, sixth house or eighth house could be business partners. So there's a chance that, there's a chance that it goes really, really deep and that, they were both working on this together. if you know what I mean. A composite north node in the Aries 6th house also would indicate conflict, war, confrontation, or a breaking apart, which, yes, that's what the two have experienced. I mean, there was a falling out that's already been discussed. And in some of the emails, we've already seen how Jeffrey Epstein was talking about Donald Trump, saying he was like the worst person that he's ever met. You got to be pretty bad if Jeffrey Epstein thinks you're the worst person that he's ever met. So, I mean, all of these things are very much about the selfishness and the South Node Pluto dark side coming to light. The 6th house also rules our obligations, things that we've promised to others, commitments that we have to uphold by doing something in a day-to-day way. So hypothetically, this could be someone paying you to do something, or someone having secrets about you. And because of that, you are going to operate in a particular way in your day-to-day life. So making certain decisions or changing your daily routines because you owe someone something or because somebody has threatened you. And if you don't do it, then you're going to have, all the 12th house stuff is going to come out. So that's another strange aspect of this. So I'm very curious to see what comes out next week. I'm hoping that it will all be revealed. And the astrology does support that it will. So I feel like with that, I'm seeing deeper involvement, like really deep involvement. I just got goosebumps on my face. So I'm seeing like work, contracts. I'm seeing deals between the two. Like this is a very, very close South Node karmic connection. So I think that a lot of this was done together. So to sum it up, you guys, we're going to head over to Patreon and the members video after this. If you guys are already members and patrons, then you may want to head over there next because we're going to pull some cards. But basically these connections indicate rivals, legal disputes, public conflict, a situation that was meant to remain in darkness that is brought fully into the light for healing. 6th house, Virgo energy. Also, we talked about Virgo energy when we discussed Cassie and Diddy. If you guys will recall, Cassie is a Virgo sun, and Virgos are known for being like the healers of the zodiac. But a storyline for many Virgo energies is that they will go through a period where they will feel powerless, and then they build that inner strength, they build their self-worth, and then they end up coming out and, delivering the justice or being a part of that process. Fun fact, Lady Justice, who a lot of people think is a symbol of Libra energy, is actually Virgo holding the scales. So Virgo energy and 6th house day-to-day energy is always tied in to justice and karmic justice. And the message there is the things that you do on a day-to-day basis build your life. If you are a just person, if you operate with integrity, things will work out for you eventually. Even if you go through a hard time, you will find healing and there will be some sort of meaning in it for you. Acting in integrity is basically like the Virgo message, having a kind heart. Like these are the things that Virgo values. And when Virgo is holding the scales of justice, if you do not uphold that, if you do damage to others, if you are harmful, then eventually the scales of justice are going to rebalance, and all the things that you've been doing will be your downfall. It's inevitable. The can's been kicked down the road for many, many years. And I think we are finally in a place where it's going to be coming out. Another fun fact, Uranus is retrograde in Taurus and wrapping up that transit. And Donald Trump has a Taurus midheaven. Uranus is shocks, surprises, things coming into light suddenly that we didn't expect. And Taurus midheaven, your midheaven is like your reputation, your public image. I think that we're going to find out that it's what we suspected allegedly and then some, because Uranus does not play around. When I say Uranus is bringing shocks, it's going to bring the shock. So get ready. Okay. But again, it's needed to happen. The truth needs to come out so that justice can be served and so that it can be cleansed, right? We need to cleanse all the horrible things that have happened and pray and hope for healing for the victims and just let this be a lesson to anybody who has wanted to harm others or create power imbalances. That stuff is never going to work out in the long run. Eventually, you know, the dark deeds will come back to bite you. And if Pluto is involved, you can run, but you can't hide. You know what I mean? It's giving that energy. So that is just some of the craziness. Let me know what you guys think. Are you as shocked by this astrology as I am? Because I'm floored. All right, you guys, I love you so much. And I will see you over on the Patreon or members only if you guys are a part of that community. All right, love y'all. Bye, guys.